One of my favorite stories is from college when me and my friend George were hanging out with my other friend Mabush. And Mabush is this African guy from like South Africa. Like, he's actually from Africa. And he and I were like hanging out all the time. It was so much fun. And one day he asked me while my girlfriend was there, you know, hanging out with us, and he's like, "Can I be rude for a second and ask you a question?" This is a terrible accent. "Chris, why you date the white girl?" And she looked at me and I just go, "I don't know, because they're cute and she's nice and I don't really care about the race. I just thought that she was a cool girl." And she goes, "Oh, babe, thanks." Gave me a hug. "I gotta go to class." And she turns around and walks away. And my bush looks at her and goes, "Oh, she got the booty!" Ha ha! Okay, he probably didn't laugh like that, but he did say, "She got the booty!" And then me and my friend George just couldn't stop laughing about that, because at the end of the day, it wasn't about her race, it was about her butt, which is also kind of sexist in some ways, but it's also about my preference of liking a woman with a healthy butt. Nothing wrong with that, you know? Nothing wrong with that at all. And I always want to illustrate that story because I want to point out that ultimately, people don't date other people based on the color of their skin. They'll date them for other awful reasons, like their bodies, or their faces, or even just their hair being like long enough, or just anything. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, people will date each other for all kinds of reasons. So why is race such a big deal? It's not. It's really not. And it's also one of the things that I think most people don't actually care about. Because there's so many other things you need to focus on. You need to focus on their personality, their spending habits, you know, their hygiene, you know, if they like video games, they like Pokemon, like those are the things that are really important, not their freaking race. Hey everybody, it's Chris, and welcome to #KillChris. This week, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Not really though, because last week we talked about why do black people like the fried chicken? And this week we're going to talk about why do black men like the white women? Because someone actually in the comments of the chicken video asked me a very poignant question. It looked like this.
Chris, comma, have you ever slept with a black woman? Question mark?
Yes. Yes, I have. Multiple times. In fact, I'll tell you guys something real honest. I have been engaged to a white woman. What? That's not a surprise. I married one. But I've also been engaged to a black woman. In fact, to be completely honest, a black woman took my virginity.
Awkward.
Throughout college and other points in my life, I have dated a fair share of white women. I have pursued black women, but for some reason or another, it didn't work out and it wasn't my fault. There was one girl in particular, I went to a nightclub that her friend ran several times to hang out with her, and she seemed like she was into it, and when I finally tried to ask her on a date, she was like, I like this guy now. And she was talking to a light-skinned brother. And I'm like, but I thought we had the dark skin magic going on. I thought we were flirting and you were hitting on me and I was hitting on you and we were doing the thing. Nope, that's not what happened. She was talking to him. Maybe that is what happened and she just changed her mind because she met him because he had muscles or something. But it didn't matter because the fact is that I have indeed been with and dated black women in the past. But for one reason or another, I have mostly been with white women more publicly. And not because I'm trying to hide anything, because to be real, there was one point there was a black girl I dated that I can tell you this right now. I brought her home to my parents' house. She met my sister, she met my mother. I think my dad wasn't there yet, but she met those two people, and she was cool as heck, and it was really fun to have her in the house. And it was actually kind of nice to have a woman in the house that I didn't have to answer weird questions from later. Because you know how like you bring a white girl to the house, if you're a black guy and you dated white girls or dated someone of other cultures, they will come to your house and your parents will meet them, and your parents will indeed ask you a weird question or two later. They just will. And I don't fault them for it, because the fact is that it's different for them, especially when you grow up in a culture, or rather a neighborhood of sorts, where there are mostly just black people. In my high school, just black people. No white people, just black people. College was kind of weird for me for the first couple of years because I wasn't used to being around that many different cultures, that many different people. But after time and, you know, some I don't know what you call it, after some acclimation, you get used to things. You just deal how you deal. People always ask me, do I talk like this because I went to a white college? And I say, no, I talk like this when I was going to the all-black school too. That's why I didn't have friends. I'll be honest, guys, it really does suck when you think about it. Like, people treat you differently because you are different, but then later in life, you get celebrated for your differences. And I just wish that parents would teach their kids to celebrate people like very, 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 very early at age for being different. Like, you see a kid who walks a little funny, you see a kid with a weird haircut, you see a kid who doesn't know how to dress himself, celebrate that kid because that kid is being unique. He is being artistic or just special or maybe just even poor in some instances. Like, there was a kid in my school who wore all sweatpants every single day. Not that like, he only wore sweatpants, he had to wear a shirt too, but he always wore sweatpants, and they called him Sweatpants Kid and made fun of him, and I always got mad and wanted to defend him. But I'm losing the topic of today's video. Let's get on that right away. So today's topic is about why do black men date the white women. And I'll say this first before I get any deeper into this conversation. Love is love. People date each other because they love each other, or they care about each other, or they're attracted to each other. Like, I like the curve of her butt. I like the way her head slopes down like this. I like the way her haircut looks. I like her eyeshadow. I like this. I like that. I like that she's being nerdy. I like she's different. Like, honestly, my girlfriend will sometimes get insecure about girls who walk into a spot wearing like a nice short dress, or maybe heels, or just really done up when she's just more kind of casual. And I always tell her that if I was out, the first girl I walk up to would not be the girl wearing the heels or the short tight dress. It'd be the girl wearing the dorkiest thing in the room, the girl wearing the tennis shoes, the girl wearing the Pokemon shirt, something like that. So you don't have to worry about the girl in heels or be insecure. But that's, yeah, again, a topic for another day. I really just want to say that when you meet someone that you're into, you're normally into them because you're into the person. You're not like, ooh, that's a white girl. Ooh, that's a black girl. Ooh, that's a black man. Oh my God, are you Mexican? That's not how it goes. You have to be into the person too. Now, you can definitely have your preference. That is definitely a thing that people have. But it does not dictate that you're going to 100% be attracted to that person. It's kind of the same thing where there are some people who are homophobic and afraid that if they go into a room with a bunch of gay dudes, that every gay guy might want them. It's not that way. I think the longer we go on into this generation, we're going to find that those differences don't matter as much anymore to people. And ultimately, we get to know people for who they are. There will be cultural stuff here and there. There will be some people that do definitely just want to be with a certain race, and that's okay too, because you like a certain style, you like a certain feel. I have a lot of friends, actually, girls mostly, that will say, like, I'm only into black men, and they'll be white girls or Hispanic or whatever. And believe it or not, half of those girls wind up dating or marrying white guys anyway, because they like their style, they like their swag, they like how that person feels. So to answer the question, ultimately, why do black men like white women? I'll say that there is a possible answer, and it's just going to be the thing I'm going to throw out there. So I'm going to say that maybe some of these guys were not accepted in the black community when they were growing up. And so when they first go to college or get outside of that community, the first people to really like welcome them, be really nice to them, be really open to them are normally or maybe white women or white people. And when that happens, they're like, oh my God, I have a chance now at happiness, or a chance now at something different, you know? Because you might go through thinking that you're a loser, you might go through thinking that you will never meet anyone that likes you because you're so hideous and so ugly, but then someone of a different culture who, again, because they're not part of your culture, might see you as differently than them, they're more likely to give you an opportunity than someone else. What they find attractive may not be what other people find attractive, but they just find you attractive. And so they'll see that happening, and they'll wind up dating a white person or white woman, if you will. And it's in part because, like I said, they were really disenfranchised with the women of their culture when they did go after them in their past. And I say this because I do think that in some ways that's what happened to me initially when I got out of high school. Because I remember in high school, I had one girlfriend, that was the black girl, and I went after another black girl immediately in the first year of college, and she rejected me constantly. And then I was like, okay, you know what, I don't really care. I was gonna go after the next girl that I think is cute, and my school is mostly white girls, so the next girl that I thought was cute was a white girl. We dated, and then somewhere around there, the black girl actually came back, and we like tried to date, but it just wasn't really a good fit ultimately. And I wound up dating somebody else after that, and she happened to be Hispanic. And then I dated an Asian girl after that. Then I dated a white girl, and then I just kind of, you know, did my thing for a while until I got married. And then I, you know, just kind of did my thing again. And I won't really go into my entire dating history. You don't need to know all that. But I will say that in between there were some black girls that weaseled in there, and it had nothing to do with their race. It's about who they were and the things they liked. Like one of the girls that I honestly connected with the most, and I can say her name because she's never going to see this. Her name is Bree, and she was a black girl. She had this really crazy, like, big, like, curly hair, and it was beautiful, and it was so fun to hang out with her. But ultimately she wanted a thug dude, and I was like, why are you hanging out with me in the first place? Like, what are you doing? Why are you hanging out with the least thug person you could find? She goes, I don't know, I like you, dork face. She always called me dork face. That always, like, stood out to me as a very endearing thing, and I always felt good because I felt like she gave me my own little special nickname in her life. But ultimately she was like, you know what, I like hanging out with you, you're fun, and it's crazy doing like weird stuff with you, but ultimately I want a thug dude who can hold me down and make me feel, you know, protected, because I was like, I can't really feel protected with you. So that's when I started working out, and I grew this beard, and I have, that's not exactly when I started working out, or when I grew the beard, because I couldn't grow a beard up until I turned like 27 or something. At that point I was like 20, I don't know, 1 or something, I don't remember, it was a long time ago. So my point is though, is that none of that had to do with race. It always had to do with the fact that I was into a person and what they had to offer me, and really I think a lot of those black guys, they will grow out of that eventually if that's what their thing is. So the whole thing is because they didn't feel accepted by black women at one point. They will eventually grow out of that and realize that along with growth and maturity will come that same kind of like eye-opening experience, which will allow those same women to see that, oh, this was a good guy, or he is a good guy, and I'm willing to actually give him a chance now, which that does happen. And there's no reason for you to be holding this grudge for years, like, well, you didn't want me back then, you're not gonna get me now that I'm sexy. Yeah, you ain't getting none of this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, that's just not what you should do, because you're probably not sexy. You just happen to start appealing to people because you're not like a loser. You know, that happens a lot. Like the guy that was like the quarterback in high school, who's like the most like awesome guy ever in high school. He will peak and he will go down in value, much like a car when you drive it off the lot. And again, let's get back to the point though. Why do black men like white women? Some people will give you these dumb rants, which I've seen on YouTube, where it's like, oh, because they can get in the water. I'm like, oh my God, don't say that. Don't say that, because white women can swim. They might need a swimming cap, but they can swim. They will get in the water with you. That crap is not an issue. Trust me, I have a little sister and a niece. My niece is a A1 swimmer, and my sister and I have definitely been in pools. So don't tell me right now that black women don't get in the water and play and aren't experimental and don't want to have fun. I know plenty of fun, experimental, crazy A black women to this day. Trust me. If you say that black women don't like go mountain biking and do all that like crazy, like, you know, skydiving stuff, you don't know real black women. You know the stereotypes. That is the issue. You have accepted the stereotypes of what you think black women are. Now you will say that, well, white women are nicer. No, they're not. No, they're not. I've had at least 3 long-term white girlfriends. They're not nicer. In fact, I'll say that in real, the black girlfriends I have had were actually way nicer than the white women. It has nothing to do with them being nicer, or them being more patient, or them being softer, or any of this stuff. None of that is true. You are dating the wrong people, or you are a person who goes for weak women. I always go for a strong woman who's going to stand up for herself and isn't going to let anyone kind of walk all over them. And I think that's important to realize too. If you really are going after women that you think are just not, you know, not going to like get in your face and tell you off when you do something wrong, you are going after the wrong things and you were damaged at some point in your childhood. That is my honest opinion. I don't think that's the thing you say about every black woman. It's just not true, and I need to stand up for that because it's really, really important. Because if I happen to have a daughter, she will be labeled as a black woman, and she needs to know. She needs to know that she is not any kind of stereotype. She can be anything she wants to be. Be that if she wants to be loud, she can be loud. If she wants to be quiet, she can be quiet. But it doesn't mean that anything is predetermined for her based on her race. And for anyone to carry that forward is to just carry forward ignorance. And I will not stand for it myself as a man who really does want to stand up for everyone out there who can't speak for themselves. So ultimately, why do black men date white women? It's because in all honesty, in my experience, it's because they're accepting. They want to talk to you and they're interested, and that's really the answer. They'll date a black girl too. She shows that she's interested. I will say that I've had my opportunities where I've gone out there and hit on a black woman. She wasn't interested. I've also been out there where a black woman has distinctly hit on me and I was interested, and we tried and it didn't work out, or I tried and it did work out, but then we broke up anyway, just like the white women. That's the thing. People keep forgetting that part. The same exact story I just told about the black women didn't work out. It didn't work out with white women as well, or Asian women, or whoever I tried to talk to. You know, I mean, there's a girl I dated who's a Native American, and we hung out, and I just happened to just not be that into it, and it just ended. It has nothing to do with race. It's about the personality. Because at the end of the day, when your looks start to fade, when your skin starts to change, because it will change. You notice how like you become an old man, your skin gets darker or your skin gets lighter, it just will change. Look at old people. Their skin does not look the way that it did when they started that way. Just trust me. When things start to change, you're still left with the personality, and you have to live with the personality. If you go blind, you still have to live with the personality. So when you're dating, go after the personality. Don't care about the race. Please. Care about the content of their character. And I'm saying this like one day outside of Black History Month, because I really do want to push this home, that you should never go after someone for the color of their skin. You shouldn't. Go after them for who they are or what you think is attractive. That's it. Don't forget about tomorrow's special event. Please add me at CSandreas on Twitter, or add my app from any app store. By typing in Chris Sanders on your phone, you'll get me and you'll get my video no matter what. See you then. Have a happy Nintendo Switch day.